And welcome to the Level Up and Live podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. We're also grateful for the listeners. And we talk about business, entrepreneurship, and fitness. That's our jam. Those are the things we love to talk about, and we tie them in together. And today, the episode is going to literally be about the business, about fitness combined. And there's a element I'm jealous about because you guys get to do both things together and get paid for it and bring value and service to your customers. And Robin Vaughn, Jeremy Geist, we're so grateful for you guys coming on the show. MRT Optimal Fitness in Spring, Texas. So local shout out. Most of our listeners are local. So there's actually a promo code that we're going to put in the notes. So it's 50% off for the first month. And if you type in Level Up and Live, you guys get that discount. So, man, highly experienced. You guys have been in the game for a long time. You're coming from multiple different directions, but you've brought it together. And yeah, cannot wait to hear the story. If you guys want to give us a little breakdown, love to hear it.
Um, so as far as I've been in the fitness industry for professionally since 2016. I mean, I've worked out pretty much over 20 some years and everything. Me and Jeremy actually met through Camp Gladiator. He was my area director when I first came in and everything. And so, I mean, the way I looked at it is like when I first seen him, of course, like what you were saying, Sean, he was like, "Oh man, he's fit." So his first look, it was like brothers in iron, type of thing. But man, that first day we hit it off. We just been cool ever since, you know. And the friendship, I think, is kind of deeper than that. It goes more into like brothers, and family and stuff like that. So yeah, but been in the industry for like 8 years. I was an athlete, so ran track, played basketball, got the injuries that came with all of that. So that's behind me. But I love just, helping others, better their quality of life. So
So you were a trainer, Robin, when you were a trainer? Okay. And then Jeremy was a area director when y'all had met?
yeah, when we met, yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. I'm curious on how y'all struck up the conversation, Jeremy, and I know you can kind of speak to your story a little bit with your journey through CG and what you've done and built there and now transitioning. We'll get to that at MRT. But I'm curious on because you've met so many people, Jeremy, with competing at finals at CG and through your network and relationships and some of the other things that you've done. What why Robin? What's special about Robin other than he looks like he could like bench press me, but
Yeah, I mean that's primarily why I brought him along.
bodyguard, man.
Yeah, bodyguard. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, Rob just has like a lot of innate qualities that you're not going to find in your everyday person, W-2 employee, or even like your everyday entrepreneur or claim to be entrepreneur nowadays. I mean, he's a hard worker. He's gonna work as much as it takes. Basically, there is no clocking out with him. And I mean, I really look up to somebody that is gonna put that much effort into one single thing in life, and really, I want to run with that. And we kind of I got to really work alongside Robin at CG as his area director, and I was able to see him really transform like an outdoor business. I mean, the things you can do if you can take a parking lot, and grow it to 150, 170 members that are willing to pay you to work out in the sun, at 5 p.m. in Texas and Houston. There's something about you that is a bit different. So getting to work with him as a trainer and then getting to work with him and see his development as we kind of brought him into leadership at CG and we brought him into that area director role as I took my next step up. That was, awesome. And then getting to see how he interacted, how he was able to, take what he had learned and develop others, like develop other up and coming trainers, entrepreneurs that were interested in doing kind of what we've done for the last 8 to 10 years at CG. So really like seeing him, in all those like facets of business. I was like, it was a no brainer. I mean, you got to bring the best of the best with you. So we had a third partner, Kerry Wilson. He ended up moving to California, kind of unexpectedly for us. And at the time we had Elevated Life Ventures. So that was an entirely different business that we were doing together, kind of on our free days, on our off days at CG. And we ended up we were like, hey, we can't, it's just not the same without the three of us. Like, let's go ahead and, work on kind of wrapping up this chapter.
What was that
And
business about, Jeremy? What was
so
that?
Elevated Life Ventures was so basically we sold like whiskey glasses, whiskey glass gift sets and decanter sets and like barware and things of that nature. So we kind of got hooked into the Amazon seller stuff. I know y'all have probably seen a lot of videos on Instagram. So that caught my attention. Um, it's hard. Hey, it's really hard. You live and learn, like I say, and we definitely learned a whole lot from it. And that was the biggest approach, like coming in, like I wanted to learn what e-commerce looked like. I didn't come into it saying, hey, we're going to make $1 million this year, because we knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew we were going to, lose some money. But what you learn from being inside the game is totally worth it. So we were able to really make quite a bit of the money, the assets that we put into it, the capital we put into it. We made a lot of that back from kind of off selling all of our product. And then we were able to use some of that to help open up MRT Optimal Fitness. So
Super cool, man.
So
It's interesting because we just had an episode talking about you can have all the information, but the information is just information, man. It's like you can just Google it on how to do that, but it's you, the person, that changes, right? Like it's you who does whatever it needs to be done with the information. And so going through that process, learning, it's difficult. You lose money. You're putting your feet to the fire. You as a person, as a group of guys, like what did y'all learn as far as like leadership, and who did you kind of become through that process? Because that speaks to the essence of entrepreneurship, like is becoming that leader that can create a business. It's not just about the how-tos, it's really about who you are and how you run that business. So what did y'all learn from that?
So can you repeat that question? I'm trying to
Yeah, just what
get
did
it.
you learn through that experience, and also to add on there, you had a third member, and he left, so that's quite the learning experience. Like, what did you guys get from that as far as being leaders and building business, and who you need to be able to execute?
It's tough, It's definitely a challenge, and kind of like Sean pointed out earlier, it's like what hard do we want to choose, But I think it's mostly what you put into it, and the time and the energy and effort and everything that you put into it, And failure is inevitable. I think it's not failure itself; it's whether you just quit, you get up and you keep going, re-strategize. So, but I mean everything, like I don't look at failure as failure itself, but kind of like a learning experience. So it's like you never know what's ahead of you. You just got to have the mindset to tackle whatever it is when it comes. And we can always pre-plan, and things like that, but you never really know what it's going to be like. I think it's all about mindset, you know. And so I know I can speak for German when I say this, and our mindset is, like go. Like, it don't matter how hard it may be, we're going to do it anyway, and I think that's what sets entrepreneurs apart from, your regular people that pretty much get comfortable, in their position, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a beautiful answer, man. Beautiful.
Yeah. Love that.
I was gonna say, really a big takeaway was things change. Things are never gonna remain the same, outside of what you can learn and take away from, like your experiences. So, like we weren't ready for Kerry to up and move, but it was a good decision. It was a good opportunity for him and his family. And then from that, we had to adapt and, like Rob said, reevaluate and keep moving forward. Put one foot in front of the other. And yeah, I mean, I think it really helped also form like our business relationship, because you have your relationships as friends, and you're like, hey, we're buddy buddy. We can hang out all day and drink beer, you know, and, you know, do whatever, like play basketball, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, like putting on your business hat and learning to be business partners is that's a learning curve.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy as you would expect. You're gonna butt heads. You're gonna run into obstacles. I mean, all day long. Any partners, like true business partners out there, understand that. So I think with Camp Gladiator, we had that structure already, where it was like we had like layers of leadership, and, you know, hey, this is everything was laid out. But when you want to start you have a blank slate and you want to start a brand new company, brand new logo, you've got to do all the ins and outs of whatever it may be, like the advertising, the bank account, the LLC, like setting up all the just the small nitty gritty stuff. Like you really get to see who's who in that type of stuff, and who's like. I always refer back to high school when you have those group projects. You know,
Yeah.
are you going to pull together as a true team and get an A, or are
Yep.
you going to just leave it up to one smart, usually a female, who's going to take the
Yeah.
reins, right?
Yeah.
And just going to crush the project on their own and like kind of hand you some, you know, praise. But so kind of learn to just be more cohesive as a partnership and learn that even though we did lose Carrie, like we were able to maintain our partnership as we kind of moved and started to develop MRT Optimal Fitness. So
How long when y'all open up, Jeremy? When y'all open up MRT?
officially April 9th, we were supposed to open October 2nd. So we were about 6 months behind our schedule. And so that was a big, you know, learning opportunity for us there. Like, and, you know, mainly for me, because Rob was like, hey, things, you know, things happen. Things are going to come up. And I'm like, no, it's a brand new building. Nothing's going to happen. Like, there's no way. And like, I have, you know, other business owners that, you know, gym owners that open up new gyms. And they were like, they had to refurbish out like an old space and add like plumbing and do all this stuff. And I'm like, we don't have to do all that. Like, we're not going to run into any obstacles. And thankfully, we only ran into 6 months of it. But, you know, you taking 2 quarters of income, you know, out of someone's pockets, that's a hard thing. So I think we were able to learn how to, you know, cope and deal with stress a little bit as a partnership, as a new business that, yes, we are a new business, but we're not open. And we're sitting in this like ready, like it's built out, like everything's ready to go on October 2nd, but we're sitting here and unable to use it. Like, so we continued training with Camp Gladiator, just did our, you know, continue to add whatever value we could to them because we had to remove ourselves from the leadership position back in September. So we had the transition figured out from step down, boom, about 3 weeks later, we were supposed to open and didn't happen. So we just, you know, just did what we had to do, continue like offering our services to Camp Gladiator and its members. And yeah, we opened April 9th officially. So it's been
Of
it's been
2024.
2024. Yeah. Like
It's fresh.
I think
I would ask you what your biggest struggle is, but there's probably multiple struggles right now.
like right this moment, or I think I think overcoming the 6 months of continuously trying to reevaluate. My brain doesn't stop. Like when it comes to business, like it's like, okay, we can't let another day go by without generating a future. Right. And it may not be generating revenue in our pocket right then, but how can we reformulate? How can we take our adversities and reformulate it and grow? Like, how can we get this thing rolling? So, I mean, I was game planning like, okay, let's look at a second location. Like, what does that look like? You know, we were on, I don't know. It was just your normal day-to-day stuff, like your inspectors, your permits, like all that stuff.
So you said you kind of stuck with the Camp Gladiator stuff because that right there, man, that's the ultimate like entrepreneurial. Okay, we got to pivot. Things aren't working out, but we got to keep moving forward. Got to generate that revenue. Did you say it was you kept doing the Camp Gladiator, or what did you come up with to be able to continue to keep going?
Yeah, so for our personal revenue, you know, and income, because I have a family, I have two boys, I have a wife, so got to keep pulling in something. So we kept training with Camp Gladiator. They were gracious enough. I mean, I came on in 2015, worked my way up to region director. So at the time when I stepped down, I was over Colorado, Texas, Colorado, Houston, and Louisiana. So,
Wow.
Because we went down from 23 directors down to 6 of us. So we ended up, our workload just like exploded. But so I did my due diligence there, which was great. And never did I expect like, hey, like you can continue training with us. You can continue training under the platform and the brand. But they were gracious enough. I think they knew like the people we are, like I'm not trying to take a Camp Gladiator client and bring them over to the what if space of MRT Optimal Fitness when it opens. It was more like, hey, let's do right now, like day by day, week by week, how can we deliver value to this person who's dedicated to Camp Gladiator, to the business partners that work there, and to continue like a good name for ourselves, because that was super important for us as well, to not burn any bridges, not create any conflicts. Like we want to stay in partnership with other gyms and other, fitness companies in the industry. Like, I don't understand why people want to compete so bad. Like, it's good to compete, like when it comes to numbers on paper, but when it comes to bad mouthing people and burning bridges,
why have enemies when you can have friends? It just doesn't make, you know what I mean? Like, we'll just let's not battle each other. Let's get everybody to move up.
Yeah. Because that's the goal. The ultimate goal of like being a trainer is getting people healthy, right? We want to take someone that's an everyday like Joe on the street that has no intention to work out, right? Like they are just fine. Their health markers may not be the best, a little bit overweight. They don't want to work out. We want to take those people and we want to bring them into the fitness realm, right? You got to work out and do something. And whether that's with us, whether that's with Camp Gladiator, the league down in Houston, BFT, like any of the places, F45s, we just want to see people become active. And it's with us, then it's great because we're going to deliver whatever value we can at, the utmost value to you. But if it's at one of the other places, then, that's awesome as well.
What two questions. What does MRT stand for?
Metabolic resistance training.
Metabolic resistance training, MRT. And if you're not watching this on YouTube, man, they've got a solid background with two solid dudes. So I love y'all's the frame on that. And then, so when I ask, what does MRT stand for? You told me the name of it, right? But one of the, what, yeah, you know where I'm going with this, Robin?
Yeah, I know where you're going with it. Community, community and fitness, our goal is to bring community and fitness together,
Community and fitness.
And I was going to say something earlier too. You talked about the partnership and the difficulties of what that is and working together. You could totally be like this. And I think that's where, if you don't have the same vision, like, and I've used this before, and I'm putting my hands together. Like, if you don't have that vision right there, and you're just going to butt heads. But if you both have it, no matter what the conflicts are, you're both looking at that vision, the outcome, and you can figure out any kind of conflict or issues. And I know for me and Sean, it's like we've had a number of things that have come up, but we still have the same vision, same mission, and that doesn't ever change. So whatever issues it is, we'll overcome them. We just got to figure it out. And have you guys felt the same kind of vibe there? It sounds like you guys have that vision and you can work them out together.
Yeah, I think that's something that we even discussed before we even opened, having the same vision and everything. So I think it boils down to having the same vision and respect, like you got to have the utmost respect for your business partners. Kind of like what he discussed, like we can be friends, outside of here, drink, do whatever. But when it comes to business, we have to be on the same page. We're not going to always agree, but we both have the same mission in mind, So that and respect is huge when it comes to working together.
You got to be willing to compromise too. I feel like we're just describing a marriage.
Man, it is. It is,
brother.
Like,
it is.
You almost want to blush when he was talking about me.
It's almost like you need premarital counseling before, or a prenup. It's where you're like almost have an idea of what you're getting into. And that's just smart. It's like we're human beings and we're crazy. And you put two crazy people together, crazy things can happen. So having some form of guidelines, some form of like at least the vision keeps us focused. And like you said, respect is easier said than done, man. And I can tell y'all's vibe. You really have it for each other. And it's a really special thing. I think it's a rare thing too, because it doesn't work out a lot of times, And so you guys have obviously done other things together. So it's you guys are a very good model for people to look at if they ever want to have the same kind of thing. Like this is what it takes. This is what is needed. And compromise, man. That's not an easy word to follow through on. So it's cool to hear.
Yeah. It's not an easy word, but I think it's one of the most important, because it goes a long way. It encompasses a lot. Just that one word encompasses a whole lot of things. So it's not an easy word, huh?
Yeah, I was just saying one of the things that I learned in this entrepreneurship journey in being a business owner is sometimes like when we get, and maybe y'all resonate with this or not, but sometimes we get in these environments where like we're doing the same thing over and over, right? And then we're expecting different results. And then it's almost in like that comfort, pleasurable zone. It's like, what you need to do on a daily basis. The first 0 to 6 months, the first 12 months, you're trying to bring in customers. You're trying to make sure your facility is running. You're trying to maybe replace yourself in the facility. So you're doing this, you know what you need to do. And time goes by really quickly, right? And so we've talked about, clarity and having that vision and that mission, that North Star that's going to get Jeremy and Rob to show up every single day, even though when they don't feel like it, right? That's what's going to keep you going. And then there's accountability. So the beautiful thing about partnerships and what we've talked about in unison, like what you and saying is going together, accountability. How beautiful of a thing is it in accountability, right? When you try to go at entrepreneurship or business ownership alone by yourself, and Jeremy, you probably can resonate with this, with what you did with CG and you built a successful business, and at CG and had built up your members in a parking lot to bring out your weights and your mats. I mean, that's super impressive, right? Because they bought into you and the transformation, and you're a fit guy and you've branded yourself. But over time, now you started up another business, the e-commerce business, and now you've got your MRT. How important would you say accountability is, not only in y'all's partnership, but like accountability to your community for your business?
Yeah, I mean, I think partner to partner, God, accountability is so important. I mean, I need it, and there's, you have your ebbs and flows. In business and entrepreneurship, and that you're hot and you're not. Like there's times where like I'm always gonna show up, but there's times I'm gonna show up and I'm the most productive, ready to go person. And then there's other times it maybe not so much, So you just go through that. I've dealt with that in the area director role, region director role, inside of the Elevated Life Ventures, being true entrepreneur there. But I think having partners and or a partner to hold you accountable, to say, hey, I've realized a week or 2 weeks has gone by. Like, what's going on with you? Like, how can I help hold you accountable to this? And you got to be able to give and take with that. Like, you can't just like demand, but I think I expect myself to be, I want to hold myself accountable, but I also want Robin to be able to hold me accountable. And I look to my wife a lot to kick me in the butt a couple times and hold me accountable.
Well, and my point there is like accountability is everything to me, and I used to let my ego, my pride dictate, oh, I don't need accountability. Oh, I don't need somebody to tell me or hold my hand or, challenge me. That was the wrong mindset. That wasn't growth mindset, right? That was egotistical, prideful mindset. Now I'm like, okay, where are my holes in my business, in my business and in my entrepreneurship journey? And so now I look for accountability, the 3 levels, the accountability to a partner, accountability to myself, and accountability to my community. And I feel like with what you guys are doing at MRT, not only are you holding each other accountable, having that accountability partner, that's why you're seeing the success in this beautiful facility, all, members that are joining you. And by the way, if you live in Montgomery County, if you live locally and you're listening to this, you need to reach out to these guys because let me tell you something. I've seen Jeremy and I've just gotten to know Rob. These guys are the real deal. They are jacked. They are ripped. And they're just good looking fellas. So, and I know they're doing big things across their social media platforms. So make sure you follow them. MRT Optimal Fitness, Instagram. We'll also have it in show notes. Back to quick little plug there for you guys, but back to what I was saying is the accountability is to each other. But not only that, the people that come and sign up with you guys, the members, that to me is what's special, because we all, to a certain degree, need accountability. Without Jeremy, without Rob, where are your members, right? Whether that was at CG or whether that's at MRT. If they don't have you guys there, if they don't have a trainer there to hold them accountable to hit their health goals, where do they end up? And to me, I think that's why accountability is so powerful and so important to understand in these different areas, not just to ourselves. If we struggle with ourselves, okay, who's the accountability? Who's the coach? Who's the trainer? Where's the Jeremy Geist of the world that I can reach out to hold me accountable because I struggle with it, right? And then on top of that, let me hold myself to a higher standard and let my community know what I'm all about here at MRT. And I think that's why you run those three key ingredients together as far as accountability and what you've said as far as partnership to each other, to yourself, and to the community. Dude, you create a win-win-win, and continue to level up. So just wanted to plug that on the accountability, transitioning when it comes to strengths and weaknesses. So one of the things that me and Ewan, when you are clear as a business owner and entrepreneur with what you're good at and what you're not good at, this took me the longest time to figure out. I'm the type of guy, I'll sit here, I can show up charismatic, I can show up energetic, I can show up with passion, fuel, but you come to me for a bill, you come to me for empathy, you come to me for harmony. I didn't know what those words were in the last 12 to 18 months. So I've had to really be intentional about empathy, harmony, peace, because these words were not in my blood. They weren't in my DNA. They weren't in my vocabulary. So I've had to, one, replace myself or outsource that to replacing myself in one of my insurance company. But with you, and he's got his strengths. I've got my strengths. I've got my flaws, and he's got his flaws. But we run in unison, and our job as partners is to hold each other accountable. Hey, you stick with your strengths and I'll stick with mine. And then we'll place ourselves where the flaws and the struggles come out, right? With you two guys, have you had that conversation on, hey, Rob, this is my strengths. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm going to focus on every single day, because where focus goes, energy flows. And Rob, on the other hand, you're like, Jeremy, this is what you're good at. This is what you need to focus on. We both suck at this. We both are not empathy, so we need to replace ourselves. Have you guys had those conversations? Because if not, man, I'm just speaking to myself right now.
Yeah, I think we had those conversations slightly, and we've been knowing each other for a while to where it shows. Like there's a lot of things that he's just really good at that I'm like, I can take the time to learn it, but I can spend that time doing what I'm good at. Like if you ask me to go build relationships, get in front of people, be energetic and all of those things, I got it hands down. But then you try to give me some technology stuff, and I'm like,
Yep.
you go.
Same here.
So yeah, we've had those conversations, and Jeremy, he pushes me to be better. I'll say that, because it's more than just okay, you're good at this and I'm good at this. It's like, all right, this is your weakness, learn it. It's like, so hone in on your weakness as well as, keep your strengths going. So
Yeah, I think in business, like you definitely have to have a base level across the board, whether it's you got a base of like sales, like, you kind of know how to sell, like myself. I can get you in here,
Yeah.
but this guy rock sales, like he's going to crush it. Like he's just going to take the hardest, like objections and like flip them around on you, and you're going to be a member, in the next 10 seconds. Me, I give you a little bit more time, I back off. But I do think you need to have a base level of everything, whether it's, being, decent at sales and marketing and, the technology side of things. And, customer service, customer relations, like all of that. So with business, you do. And with us being both, CEO of the company, we don't know how this is, the goal is to open up multiple locations, already eyeballing a few. And, we don't know how the company's going to essentially like form, like are his roles going to be, where are my roles going to, kind of focus. And so I think it is important to have that base level, but it is important, like, as we're like in the middle of it all, like we've got to like hone in on our like strengths. And, that's kind of like what you said.
Yeah. And replace yourself. Maybe you both struggle with it. And so it's like who, not how. And so if you're spending all your time on the how, then that's where it depletes your energy and takes you away from focusing on what you're good at. And so if Rob's the one that's driving the needle and bringing in the sales and the members, okay, cool. How do you do more of that? And if Jeremy's spending his time on this, how do I do more of that? And when I hear you say franchise, I just love that, dude. That's beautiful. Or did you say franchise? Did I hear you say that?
And just expansion.
Expansion? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know if we're going to go the true franchise route, because I'm a stickler with, like, hey, it needs to be like this. I mean, there's some franchises that like the Chick-fil-A. You got to have it this color.
Yes.
You gotta have it
Black and
that
white.
That door frame better be exactly like this. So we don't know, like, is there a lot of wasted energy inside of trying to manage the franchise so early on? And there's going to be better people that are more experienced with that. And we're going to, give it our all as we expand. We're going to learn so much, like as we open up our second compared to when we open up our 10th, like there's going to be a big learning curve. And things are going to change. So I don't want to say we're going to franchise, but the plan is to expand, bring on, essentially managers that we can lean on to help, grow that community. So if it's Baytown that we're opening, then we want to have like somebody we can lean on, and we don't have to be there day to day because you can't be everywhere at once. So,
yeah.
Do you have anybody right now? Is it just two of you? Or are you kind of honing in on your first hire, or do you have a few already?
It's just the two of us right now because we're still within our 90 days. We're trying to hit that. So we close out the goal. The first milestone was 100 founding members. We were able to close that out within the first 3 weeks. So we closed that out by the end of April.
You had over 100 members in the first 3 weeks?
Dude, that's awesome.
That's correct.
Phenomenal.
We do have a big network. So, he's been with Camp Gladiator since 2018. He's been training since 2016. I've been with CG since 2015. They were the first ones to hire me once I got my my certification. So, Camp Gladiator Group Fitness, that's kind of all I know outside of like running people into the ground at the track before I knew anything. We all have those times. That first client. Yeah. Shout out Ramon, Antonio. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, where was I going with this?
Just your next hire. I was going to ask, like, what would be your next hire if you could pick someone?
If we could pick somebody, man, there's so many awesome trainers like we've worked with Camp Gladiator. I don't want to throw out any names that are currently still with Camp Gladiator because that's just bad taste. But Andy Benier, he trained in the Spring area. He was a great trainer, amazing trainer, just had awesome qualities about him, like family guy. He's currently working at the field house over off 99, that giant building, giant space.
So you pick a trainer in as far as like having kind of those back end type, removing yourself from having to do, maybe those tedious things. Do you have someone like that kind of in mind too?
Correct. Somebody that's like not only going to be a trainer, but that's going to be able to, that has a big network or knows how to build a network. Because, your character is going to draw people. So even if you don't have a network, you're 22, you're 23, and you're hungry, and you just are welcoming to people. Like you're going to build a network and bring people into the business. But we do want to have somebody that has some sort of entrepreneurial hat that wants more for themselves within the next, 2-3 years, that wants to move up, wants to see their pockets get bigger as well, and also help obviously the community and help and build the brand of MRT and what it's going to be in the future, in 5 years.
We interview a lot of business owners and in our mastermind group. We have a paid mastermind group and a number of business owners in there. And over the time we've been doing that, we often ask the question, like, what's your biggest struggle? And a lot of them will say eyeballs, getting what it is they have in front of people. It does not, like, I'm picking up, and of course, I'm sure you have that mission to get in front of more people, but it doesn't seem like that's one of your issues right now. Like eyeballs, it looks like you guys are growing really well. Is that accurate, or it feels like you have an abundance of people? Just you just need people to be able to take care of them.
Yeah,
I think we're at a pretty good pace, but we're kind of like Sean pointed out, uncomfortable. So we're not comfortable. We always want more. So from the outside looking in, it's like, yeah, but then we're like, no, this is our goal. We got to work towards this goal. So it's the idea of being hungry, and everything, and not being complacent.
It's never enough.
Yeah.
Even when we have 10 solid locations that are, it's still probably going to feel like there's something that needs to improve, but we're doing well. I mean, if I can really sit back and reflect and say, like, hey, we've been open for less than 90 days. We're at, 140 members. We're doing okay, but there is a milestone. We need to hit 200, and that's when we're going to really open up, the books and start looking at opening up a second location. And by that time, we'll probably be bringing in our first manager or first trainer. And
you guys are close. It's exciting, man. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm getting fired up. It's awesome.
One of the things with MRT, and which are building right now, is you're learning so much, right? You're rolling the sleeves up. You're in the trenches. You're making things happen. You're building this business together. You're learning so much about each other, and the good, the bad, the uglies. And then also you're learning what's working, what's not working, right? And so when you pick your head up in 12 months, and I know when I started my first business in 2015, I had my head down in the sand. I was doing everything, right? Answering emails, phone calls, wanted to grow. And you can, to a certain degree, especially with you guys having two people, and you can divide that workload. And then you get to a certain degree and you're like, you pick your head up and go, man, I've been doing this for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months. It goes by really quickly. And that happened to me. And then immediately I was like, okay, I'm doing the same thing over. This is what's working. Let me just go repeat this and start up in a new business. Squirrel.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I went and started up a landscape company about 5 years in. It was the best and worst decision of my entire entrepreneur journey. Y'all know where I'm going with this? So that's what happens to a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs is squirrel. We go over here, the nice shiny object, something new, something familiar, something I can do the same thing over and over. I don't want to stare it down and, face the emotions and the feelings that I'm having right now, but I need to. I don't want to. I'm going to go over here and do what I've done the last 3 years and expect different results. And that's what I did. Well, fast forward 2 years, I ended up selling that landscape company. I ended up selling it and learned so much in that journey on what I didn't want to do and the mistakes that I had and the failures that I had learned along the way. I just created another problem. I just created another job, right? Because I didn't want to stare down. I didn't want to focus in on myself in the mirror. I was the bottleneck in the business, right? Instead, I was looking for external forces. I was looking over here. I was trying to look over here and why do people take vacations? Why do people go on cruises? Why do they get new houses, cars, watches? Why do they start new businesses? Because they don't want to focus on the here and the now, the person in the mirror. Do you guys resonate with that? When going through Camp Gladiator, you started your e-commerce, now you're at MRT, you resonate with anything that I'm saying?
Most definitely. I'll say, hey, congrats on your learning experience. I know it's heavy on the shoulders.
Heavy, bro.
I'm still sending in paperwork to get our LLC completely wiped, our partnership, but our previous one. So I know, we know how it feels like just to have that kind of looming over you and just like, man, what did I do? But, you learned from it. And a big learning, a big takeaway would be don't necessarily do it again. Like less is more, like to focus on one thing. And I think that's where we ran into with doing the fitness, group fitness with Camp Gladiator, and then saying, oh, let's do this e-commerce. This is going to be easy. We'll do it on the side. It was a lot of hours, and learning the business was the majority of that. So coming from that, because I know we were in this gig economy, thing in the early 2020s, 2018, 19, 2020, where, let's do multiple roles, like open up multiple companies. And some people can do that, but you need to be ready to outsource to be able to delegate.
Yeah.
You better have your chickens in a row. Is that the phrase? I'm not sure, but
Your ducks
I
or
like
something?
that.
ducks. I think it's the ducks.
Have your ducks in
Okay,
a row.
it's not the
The
chickens.
chickens
but
got
Oh,
my
man,
attention, though. I liked it.
I bought it. I liked it.
Sean was talking about chicken earlier.
We're all hungry.
Hey, you think about
That's some
Chick-fil-A.
protein.
I got a whole rotisserie chicken in the fridge, ready to eat for lunch. So. But you got to have your stuff in order, and if you don't, then there's no reason to move on to something else and attack something else onto you. And I think just being a dad and a husband, that my extra time, like I want to crush this business, I want to devote all my time to this, and put ourselves on the map when it comes to building community with a fitness program, because I think that's super, super important. We're not just going to run people in the ground. We want you to like what you're doing. We want you to like who you're working out with. But I think once we can really commit and build this, then my extra time, I want to be able to spend with my kids as they get older, so.
Man, that's the magic right there. That, because people think business growth, the whiskey one. I mean, obviously you guys had some passion there, but a lot of times it was e-commerce. Want to learn about e-commerce, you learn it, but what was the why behind it? Like, what was the vision? And you nailed it right there. I want to spend more time with my kids. That's why you build a business, so that you can live the life that you want, not just for business sake, growth for growth's sake. That's burnout. Because what is it for? I mean, you summed that up perfect. As soon as you said that, I was like, man, that's the drive too. It drives you to be clear on what you want to do, as opposed to once you get there, well, what was all for? You might have a terrible relationship with your kid. A lot of business owners, very successful. I know 9-figure business owners that don't have good relationships with their kids, and they're not happy. They spend their whole life trying to get there, build this baby, and they forgot about their own. So yeah, hearing you say that, man, that's probably one of the most powerful things I think you could probably have as an entrepreneur, business ownership, and enjoying what you do day to day. You get to love it whilst pushing towards that life. That's what it's all for,
Yep. Yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah.
Rob, Jeremy,
Yes, sir.
man, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. We appreciate you guys saying yes. We appreciate you guys coming on the episode today, the show, and just being invaluable to our audience and our listeners, and just sharing your journey, opening up, being vulnerable. Man, to me, that's respect. I commend you guys for doing that. It's not easy coming on these podcasts, right? For your first time. But at the end of the day, you've got experience. You've rolled up your sleeves, you're in the trenches, and you're making things happen. And that's who we want to surround ourselves with, other business owners and entrepreneurs like yourself in this journey, because you're not alone, bro. We're a text message away. We're a DM away. If you have any questions or anything like that, it's always good to have that support. And it just support from not only, other businesses, like you said, going at it together, but your community, and just doing it together and building a brand, going at things together. And you guys are doing that in MRT. Like, I've seen some of your posts and your social media, and just knowing a little bit about you, Jeremy, and you competing, and Rob, and getting to know you guys are winners. You guys are going to make things happen. And if I'm not a member, and if I'm somebody that struggles with whether it's accountability or support, or they're wanting to, they're somebody listening to this, I'm going to you guys, right? And because I do business with who I know, like, and trust. And so without going on and on and on, but how can our listeners and audience support you, man?
Yeah, you can follow us on our Instagram, MRT _Optimal Fitness. We need more followers. We love putting out content, showing what we're all about here. You can also go to www.mrtoptimalfitness.com /pricing if you want to take advantage of that 50% off code that Sean gave us earlier. Remind me, Sean, it was level up and live, capital letters, 50, correct?
Ewan?
Yeah, code. Yeah, just level up and live, capital letters.
Yeah. And we'll also have it in the show notes too. So yeah, just click on the episode, go in the show notes, and boom, right there. Easy access.
Yep. And we have a 7-day trial as well. So we just want people to experience it, hassle free. If you don't like it, you have no intention to sign up, that's fine. Just come experience a couple workouts with us. Just want to show everyone what we're all about. If you don't sign up, that's fine. Just tell 5 people about us. So
fantastic. So that's great to hear, man. And do y'all have any like, so we have a run club every Saturday, 5:30 CHS. Do y'all have anything like that, Jeremy, where the community come out, or they just basically show up to your facility?
We do social events. We try to do that once a month. Usually it's where we get together with all of our members and we hang out and stuff like that. But we're gonna have one at Skate Champions. Coming up on the 19th, so that's going to be to the whole public, things like that. So anybody is welcome to come. Yeah, awesome. For sure. We're going to put out an event for that today.
Okay. And they can find that
on the and we, if you want to, for all of July, if you want to come check out a Saturday workout, 8:30 a.m., just come on in, get in a free workout. If you want to come every Saturday, that's perfect. Yeah. So we're doing that for the month of July.
And y'all are doing coaching, group coaching there?
Yes, correct.
Training? Okay.
Yeah, you 8:30.
Yeah, we might have to show up for that, man, after the run club.
Come out.
Oh yeah.
Come put us through the ringer.
Yeah, I'm going to do the scaled version, but I'm in.
Hey, that's the thing. We're all fitness levels. Like everyone can't do everything, So if someone can't do a box jump, like we're not going to have you box jump. You need to keep your feet on the ground. You need to just do squats. So can't squat. We got other things for you as well. Yeah. So it's all about, regressions and progressions.
Awesome. And I've seen your facility and it's beautiful. You got all kind of new equipment. And so, yeah, it looks like heaven to me. You're speaking my language. So final question, fellas, is what does level up and live mean to you? So y'all can both go, like one of y'all can go at a time.
Level up and live for me, it means like continue to grow, progress throughout your life, and the more that you do that, you do the things that make you happy, the better life you'll have. I think happiness is dependent on you, so if you're leveling up every day, whether that's in your fitness, your nutrition, your business, and things like that, you're doing what it is that you love, then you'll live,
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think we're in the first 90 days of living it, going from a parking lot, leveling up. Now we've got a brick and mortar. We're building it, growing, and it's going to give the life, to us that we want to be able to live and expand on. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome,
man.
The
definition of leveling up, man. That's very cool. That's what it looks like in reality. It's so cool.
Well, we wish you guys nothing but the best in your future endeavors, and wherever we can help, let us know. Outside of that, we always end the call with level up and live.
Level up and live. Thank you guys.
Thank y'all so much for having us.
Come check us out.